Touch my dog in a secret spot. You will know if he likes it or not. Touch my dog in a secret spot. You will know if he likes it or not.
Why are you wearing that outfit? Are you German? You look German. Why are you here? Why are your cage bars? I'm not really sure. Francis? Steve? I'll unlock the gate, but know this. My tongue is... Okay, ominous. Here we go. As you look down the hallway, you can't help it but to feel as though someone is breathing down your neck. You turn around and you don't see anything, but you wish that you did. Had you seen something, at least then you wouldn't feel quite as aroused as you do. Sometimes I just like to lie here and wonder, what would happen if I got lost in a maze, trying to complete some king's quest or something of that nature? Would I feel as though I was trying to fulfill something that was important to me, or would I feel like I kind of got conned into doing someone else's dirty work and now I'm suffering for it? You know what I mean? It's rapid, but it's not quite as rapid as you would realize. After some time, you decide that the walls need to be painted. You reach into your backpack and you pull out a can of paint. You realize then that you don't have a screwdriver or any way of opening up the can of paint. You try to do it with your fingers, but then your fingers start to hurt. So out of frustration, you kick the can of paint and it kind of falls on its side, but the thing is still on it, so no paint comes out. After a while, you forget the whole idea. It's not like you had a paintbrush anyway. So you put the damn thing back in your backpack, zip it up, heave it back onto your back, and then as you feel the full can of paint on your shoulders, you wonder to yourself, why in the high holy hell do I have a full can of paint in my backpack? As you explore the maze, one thought enters your mind. Why would the evil overlord make a maze underground? Why wouldn't he just make something more simple like a castle or a tower? Even with the torch, it's really dark in here, and you're kind of getting sick of it. As you explore the dungeon, you realize that you have to pee. You look around, you don't see anything, so you decide that any one of these walls will do. I mean, it's a dungeon. So you pull down your zipper and you start to get ready until you realize that the floor is kind of wet. And you realize that the floor has been wet in this entire time that you've been in this dungeon. And then you start to question, where do the monsters go to the bathroom? How do they do it? And am I standing in it right now, at this very moment? You find a secret door. Wait. No, you didn't. You walk forward and the ground opens up beneath you, and you fall down into a pit trap onto a bed of spikes, and you die. No, I'm just messing with you. But seriously, you do fall down into a pit trap onto a bed of spikes. As you continue to explore the dungeon, you feel the Overlord's eyes on you. One thought forms in your mind. Pervert. You turn a corner and you find a stairway leading down. Why are the more powerful monsters always down? Why are they always in the lower levels? And each successive lower level has even more powerful monsters. What I never really thought about that. Have you? Why do they like the lower levels? And why what happens if a monster decides that it wants to go down to one of the lower levels? Does it get kicked out from one of the other more powerful monsters? Like, oh, you're not powerful enough to hang out with us. Like, seriously, what is it? Is it a social thing? I'm recording these things in advance, but I can't help but wonder, at this point in the game that you are, what just try to imagine that I am completely lost amidst layers upon layers of code because I'm essentially presenting you with branches upon branches upon branches, and without any way of flagging which one is which. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. So I'm probably going to be going through, and certain branches are just going to either outright kill you or put you back at a previous branch. I don't know yet, but um, it's a mess. That's all I can tell you. That's the yeah, behind the veil. You find a door leading to the monster's lair. It's ready. Are you? You find an old library with books as old as time lining the walls, the cobwebs everywhere. Out of curiosity, you pull one of the books off the shelf, and it's a dictionary. You pull another book off the shelf. It's really dusty. You blow on it, and it makes you cough or sneeze or whatever. And it's also a dictionary. You pull the third one off the shelf, uh, brushing the cobwebs off of it. You open it up, and it's a cookbook. The next one you can tell right away is a phone book. So you just kind of move that aside. You're not even sure why people use phone books anymore, if they can just use magic to communicate with each other. The next book looks like it's about history, but only really the last 50 years of history. Um, and the book after that is clearly the Necronomicon, which is, you don't really have a library unless you have a Necronomicon. Uh, Next book you pull out, you dust it off, you open it up. It's another dictionary. You move on. You open a door and you step forward, but then you quickly grab onto the doorknob as you're still stepping forward, and you stop yourself as you notice that there's a very obvious pit trap right in front of you. You stop yourself just before you stepped on it. And you think about it and you think, monsters live here. The Dark Overlord lives here. So why do they have pit traps right in the middle of the hallway? They have to walk back and forth through this area. Do they always jump over them? And this one's right in front of a door. Do they have to stand all straddled and open the door and then kind of shuffle themselves in? That's just really inconvenient, you know? Although, as I think of it, maybe I should put a pit trap in front of my door. My front door. After you defeat the ogre, you realize that it's been a very, very long time since you've done a number 2. You look around the room. There are old shelves made out of wood that look like they're about to fall apart. And then you see a large jug. You move over and you remove the top. It's this kind of a stone lid. I'm not sure how to describe it, but anyway, inside you see a bunch of ashes. At first you think nothing of it. You think, oh, it's like a litter box essentially for you. But then you decide to put your hand into the ashes and see, just make sure that it's nothing, you're not defiling anything. And you do encounter some bones. So you're thinking, okay, these are the cremated bones of someone. So you really have to go. You really don't want to jack up this place by, finding a corner. So now you're at a real quandary. Like, do you upset the Dark Overlord by doing it right in the middle of the room, or do you potentially incur the wrath of a spirit by doing it onto their ashes? And after having thought that, you realize this is one of the most ridiculous things that you have ever thought of while inside of a dungeon. Then you decide to go inside the pot. You are close to the Dark Overlord. The air feels evil. Inside the Overlord's chambers are the entrails of something that you don't even want to know what it was. There's so many entrails. Blood everywhere. Carpets made out of animal hides. You're not even sure where those came from because there aren't any animals in an underground dungeon. As you look around, you see religious symbols, sacrilegious symbols. You see what are those arrangements for those occult arrangements for casting spells, whatever those are. You see some of those, and you also see a very, very nice couch. It has no dust on it. It's the only thing in the entire dungeon that hasn't been full of mold, dust, cobwebs, whatever. Very nice couch, and a very nice large screen TV. And he happens to be watching Lost. You're not quite sure what episode it is, considering that there's jungle in 100% of the episodes. And you currently see jungle. It looks like he paused it, so it's not like it's going to any other scene. And it kind of bugs you that you can't figure out what season he's on. By the time he begins casting one of his evil spells, you're caught off guard. With the evil overlord defeated, one task remains. You've got to get all the way back out of there. You got to go all the way back, past all the traps, past all the monsters, up all the stairs. You're like, even though at the end of it, you end up home in your bed. Just the whole idea of doing the entire dungeon again in reverse, it's just blowing your mind right now, and you're like, screw it. You know what? I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch some Lost. You awaken and discover that you are no longer in your original body. You are in a new body. The first thing you notice is that you have breasts. The second thing you notice is that the first thing you noticed is that you have breasts. The third thing you notice is that you're okay with the fact that the first thing you notice is that you have breasts. The fourth thing you notice is your surroundings. You are in a prison cell in a dark dungeon. A man runs up to you. He looks frantic. Oh my god. No, that's it. There's nothing more. You've finished it. This is all there is to it.